Hi everyone, welcome back. We are now into session 2, plan a work task and record some findings. But before we go any further, we'll just recap our last session. So in our last session, we covered the basics of how to use a search engine to find information on the internet. We also had a chance to perform a search online and relay the information we found to the group. Did you guys find that activity pretty good?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Obviously, we discussed the internet in a general day-to-day life early on, and we moved on to using the internet in the workplace and the different uses. So obviously what we're doing right now is a pretty good example using Teams. And what we're about to do is a really good example because we're going to be presenting a research briefing towards the end of this session. So we covered off the difference between browsers and engines. Do you guys remember the difference between the browser and an engine, search engine?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, cool. And we went over the key functions of search browsers. So talking about things like search terms, using a voice or an image search, trending and suggested searches, what you'll find on the results page, and using help functions. So in session 2, the objective is that we're going to be able to plan a work task using internet research and record the results and findings in an organization appropriate context. So we'll be doing a research plan. I'm going to show you guys an example, and then you guys are going to go into a breakout room as an asynchronous activity, the three of you, and I'll leave you alone to sort of work collaboratively, and we'll come back in here and present that research plan and whatever you guys have found. How does that sound?
Okay.
Cool. Just turn that volume up. Right, so a research plan. So a good research plan should include what the research topic is, who is involved in the task. So, for this one, it'll be Luke, Tabitha, and Belinda. The objectives of the research, so what you guys want to achieve by doing the research and what you'd like to find from that plan. The online resources you'll need to undertake the research. So that there's an example as a URL, like a web address. Where you plan to gather the information from. So most people will use, we talked about search engines. So if you're going to use Google search engine would be where you plan to gather the information from. And some search terms that you're planning to use to gather that information. Alrighty, so whatever your research topic is, the search terms, whatever you're going to enter into the search engine is where you would put in those search terms. And it just gives your research plan a bit of structure so that everyone, especially if we're working in a group, everyone has a bit of an idea of how they're going to proceed. And it has a bit of a record as well for any like future auditing and that sort of thing. Does everyone follow with that?
Yep.
Great. Does anybody have any questions so far?
No.
Cool. So research compliance, something we obviously have to talk about. So some examples of documents that should be used in conjunction with a research plan and a presentation are the Internet Usage Policy and Procedure. And these documents too, it's pretty important to remember these. So yeah, whatever your company's policies and procedures are around internet usage, and that might be simple things like, what is the appropriate use of the internet in your workplace, what it can and can't be used for, that sorts of things. Obviously, we're all pretty used to being using work computers and being responsible and using them appropriately. So all of that information will be laid out very clearly in a policy and procedure by your company, but something to be familiar with. Copyright policy. So obviously you can't just go around plagiarizing things. It's very important that you don't do that, especially as a company, because whatever your research that you present, whatever research you use, if you're just copy and pasting everything from the internet, then it could be the theft of intellectual property. So and companies can get in a great deal of strife for doing that. The style guide as well is an important thing. So you've got to follow the style guide when you are doing your research plan and completing all that documentation so that it is in line with your company's policies and procedures. So being familiar with these important workplace documents will allow you to perform effective online research and it'll allow you to maintain organizational standards. So you have consistency across the business. Everyone follow with that? Does anybody have any questions? Right, great. So, how do we go about recording our research findings? So we can utilize all sorts of different word processing programs. Most companies, myself included, we use Microsoft Office, so Microsoft Word to take notes. Are there any other programs that any of you are familiar with for note taking, or do you use something different? What about you, Luke?
Yeah, but Word is the standard one, but we use a lot of Excel as well.
Yeah, okay. Tab?
We use Google Docs.
Okay, cool. I'm not actually very familiar with Google Docs. What sort of things can you do with that?
So it basically works like Word,
Yeah.
but it's just in Google rather than using Microsoft.
Yeah, okay, cool. And Belinda?
OneNote.
Oh, yeah, okay, OneNote. Yeah, that's a Microsoft product. So, yeah, I found that very handy in actually teaching large groups. Yeah. I guess another thing you guys could use, I mean, everyone has a smartphone these days, you know, gone are the days where people whip a notebook out. It's very rare now. But, I mean, if I want to take notes in a hurry, I'll flip open an iPhone and, you know, I can write notes down in the actual note section or in the reminders section too. And these are very handy tools, I suppose, as well. Using any of those programs allows you to cite your sources, and that, you know, you can copy and paste URLs and organize them in those documents, and that allows you to maintain your credibility for your research. Okay. You can then provide research findings in a verbal or a written report to the appropriate parties. So, like I said, we're going to have a bit of a go at that. You guys are going to do a research plan. You're going to write down everything in a written report, and then you're going to present it to me as if I was your manager, essentially, and, you know, as a group, like we were having a meeting. Okay. So yeah, another thing that we're going to be doing as part of recording research findings is consult the policies and procedures for workplace specific record keeping and presentation guidance. So whatever your company requires you to do for any of this sort of thing, yeah, we will be consulting those policies and procedures so that you can you know, adhere to those properly for the company. Anyone have any questions about those?
Yeah, with those policies, could you go into a bit more detail?
Yeah, sure. So every single company will have a whole set of different policies and procedures, and it really depends on what area of the business that you're working in. But like, let's say for example, you are in a research team and you're doing a lot of internet research, there will be specific policies and procedures that are kept a lot of the time digitally, but you might find in an older business they might be kept as a large binder or book somewhere, usually in the HR office. But those sorts of things you can access at any time. And as an employee, you're also responsible for making sure that you make yourself familiar with all those policies and procedures. So unfortunately, if you do the wrong thing and you come unstuck as a result, the first thing they're going to do is say, well, you were in violation of, policy clause, yada, yada, yada. So it is very important that you are familiar with those. Does that make sense, Luke?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. No worries at all. It's a good question. Okay. So this is an example of a research plan and a briefing example. Okay. So this is one that I've filled out myself. So the research topic here is communication methods in the workplace. So I will give you guys an actual research topic to have a look at, and then you'll fill in a table that's identical to this. So your research plan members, obviously this is just me doing it myself, but for you guys, you'll fill in your own names. The objectives of my research was to identify and summarize 3 common methods of communication in the modern workplace. So I picked a couple of simple search terms. I would have typed into Google workplace communication methods, call center communication, because at the time I was delivering training to a group that worked for a call center about communication skills. And generally, because most of the communication is done by email, that was the other thing, the search term that I used was emails at work. So when you guys go into a group, those first 4 rows will all be identical. You'll have the same topic. Obviously all your names will be in there. because you're all going to form part of the same research team. Your objective will be the same. So what you guys will do is come up with a research objective together and agree on that. And then you'll maybe make a couple of suggestions as to which search terms you'd like to use to put in there, okay? Your information source, so on this example, it's highlighted in green, that's methods of communication in the workplace. That's actually a hyperlink. If I click on that, that'll take me to a web page. So what I want you guys to do is in your individual documents, copy and paste just one URL from some of those search terms. You're going to go and find a fact each, basically, about the topic that I'm going to give you. So you'll enter a URL, which is you citing the correct information. The resources used in research is whatever search engine that you guys choose. I'd suggest, just to keep it consistent, if you're all kind of comfortable with using Google, just to use Google search, and that's what I would put in there as well. And then your summary is just a brief summary, what you found, and then you'll basically relay that back to the, well, you guys all have a chat, make sure you don't all come up with the same summary of findings. And then, yeah, when we come back out of the breakout room into the main, back into the main virtual classroom, you can all present the summary of findings back to me as if we're having a meeting. Yeah, and we can all have a turn at doing that. And are you guys all okay with that? Do you have any questions before we move on into the activity?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
Oh, cool. I have sent the email to you all already with that document on there. That should be asynchronous activity number 2. Have you both, have you all got that?
Yes. Yeah.
Awesome, no worries. Now obviously, Tab, we had a couple of issues. I think, and Belinda, we had a few issues with breakout rooms. So if we have a dropout again, or if you guys get kicked out of the session, if you just have your email on hand to just jump straight back in. As soon as I see see you guys trying to come back in, I'll just invite you straight back in. And this is, we're only doing the breakout room once this time, okay? So,
No worry.
asynchronous activity, prepare and present a research briefing. So I'll put you guys into a group of 3, and the topic will be working from home versus working in an office. And here we are, working from home. So should be, to make use of a pun, should hit pretty close to home. So I've emailed that to you guys already. If you're all happy to use Microsoft Word, that would be great. And yeah, just find a different fact, and I will open those. I'll open that breakout room in a sec. Just need to assign everyone to the breakout room because we had a couple of technical difficulties before. Righto, I'm going to open that now, and then you guys should all be moved into there, and you can go and do the activity. And I'll check in a few minutes. Yeah, let's give ourselves maybe 5 to 10 minutes to get this one done, and then we'll have a big chat about it afterwards. Cool. So we've got a couple of review questions to go over. And then we'll go over all of that. So we're just going to pull open. Just check in with them in the breakout room, make sure they all got in there okay. Oh, Tab didn't quite make it, okay. Hi Tab, did you get kicked out of the
It kicked me out
breakout room
straight
again?
away.
Okay,
We
I'll
went
just...
in, we said hello, and it dropped out.
Okay, and sorry about that. I'm just going to stick you back in there.
Thank you.
Bear with me a second. There we go. Let's make sure they're all in there. I want to join that room. Group activity. Join.
Okay, so I
Hi, just making sure everyone's in the breakout room.
Yep.
Great.
Back
All right.
now.
I'll let you guys go. Let's just go back to resume. That's fine. Have a quick consultation with our training plan while they're in there. Because recap pre-frame, we will do the learner evaluation form will be done synchronously at the end of assessment. That's fine. So we'll do the learner evaluation at the end of session 3. Cool. And we're going for time. 16 minutes. That's all good. We'll give them maybe 5 minutes. So you should be recorded. They should note that one. We've covered that. Citing a resource. Please copyright. Findings. That's that one there. Cool. This has been a good little group, these guys. I'll just check in with them again to see how far along they are.
Or something like that. I've never heard of that. I'll drop that in there.
Hey guys, just checking in. How are you guys
Yes,
traveling?
in the echo.
Oh yeah, that echo's no good, is it?
It's pretty good. I think we're attending.
Another technical difficulty. Are you guys going okay with that?
Yeah.
Alright, no worries. I'll probably give you another 3 or 4 minutes, if that's alright.
If you could just work on the echo
On the echo,
in the
yeah, no
meantime.
worries. Cool,
Or do you
thanks,
want
mate.
me to email AWT?
Yeah, we'll get on to AWT support about that one. It's a bit of a sticky one. I'll leave you alone. I wonder. Let's see if that works. I've got this random one here. I can't get rid of that one, but that's alright. No one else in here, it's just me. Yes, we would like to resume from slide 15. And that's a negative. I don't think they can actually contact me when they're in the breakout rooms via the chat. That's all right. So we've got, yep, all of that. We've done recording research findings. We've done the example. They're doing the activity now. Slide 15, yep. Then we've got some review questions. Actually, before we do the review questions, we'll get into all of that. All right, I might just check in with them now and bring them back into the main room. Let's just make sure they're ready. Hey guys, just checking they're all ready to come back into the main room.
Yeah.
Everyone good to go? Awesome. If we have any dropouts, just jump straight back on that link and we can come back in. Alright, just resume that. And let's see what happens when we bring everyone back. Not the fastest Microsoft Teams for breakout rooms. So I've got Luke, Belinda, and I think we have lost Tab, maybe. Oh, it worked. Look at that. No technical difficulties. This first, how good is that? No, that's fantastic. I'm glad that worked. So, how did you all go with that activity as a group?
Yeah, good.
Have you all emailed that back to me as well?
I'm about to.
Okay, great. Now. Cool. Anyway, that's fine. You guys email that to me and I'll have a copy here just for my records. But why don't you, we'll go one at a time and I'll just go through the layout that I can see. So Luke, why don't you take us through what you guys found as a group and what your different points were, and then your individual topic.
Call it a full group outcome.
Yeah.
I wasn't prepared for the full group outcome, but we were obviously looking at the advantages and disadvantages of working from home versus working from an office.
Yep.
And I found a paper from CEDA, CEDA.
Yep.
And there was some interesting information about the ability of people working from home to work up to 19.7 more hours opposed to someone working from an office.
Yep.
And predominantly people working from were fully remote were actually paid 5.8% less than people working from an office.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, right. That's really interesting. Can I ask, has your experience been mostly, so in your line of work, has most of your experience been working from home or working in an office, and how have you found it?
Majorly working from home,
yeah.
But for quite some time, either on the road or in a home office.
Yeah.
So it's not been a major change for me. I don't mind it, but you do lose some of the personal touch when you have an office.
Yeah, okay, yeah. And how did you find doing this research briefing? Were you able to sort of relate some of your own experience when you were filling out the briefing and working with Belinda and Tab?
Yeah, certainly. I believe we all worked as a team to get the desired outcome.
Yep. Cool. So thank you for that, Luke. Belinda, how did you go?
Yeah, no, it was good. I ended up finding this blog that kind of laid out the key benefits and drawbacks of working from home versus working from the office.
Yeah.
Like they talk about working from home being like quite flexible. There's no commute.
Yep.
Better work-life balance as well, whereas the downsides could be, like Luke mentioned, like an isolation or a bit of loneliness, distractions, reduced collaboration in some potential,
Yep.
and potential impact on career progression.
Yeah, okay, that's very interesting. I just draw a link there between the two. You said before, Luke, that there was 5.8% decrease or 5% less pay for someone who predominantly works from home versus someone who works from an office. Do you think that might be because operating costs are considerably less for an employee that's working from home and therefore they don't need to be paid as much?
Yeah, I would feel that employers, yes, that's the one I was looking for, employers would see that there was a financial benefit to the employee,
Yep.
and thus put the salary at that level as well to reflect that discrepancy.
Yep, no worries. Thank you, both of you. Tab, how did you go as well?
Yeah, good. I found, just wait a minute. So I found a website called RTW Matters, so it's Return to Work Matters,
Yep.
which predominantly looked at the benefits of working from home, particularly when it's about someone returning to working after some leave.
Yep.
And basically it came back saying that working from home, the main benefits of working from home were improving flexibility and employee well-being,
Yep.
and also touched on the time efficiency of the employee in completing their role.
Yeah, right. There you go. Yeah, and I suppose all of us, we're all working from a home office too. I suppose we're kind of all examples of not only using the internet to conduct research, but actually doing our work and our professional development and our training from a home office. So, I hope that sort of helped. That topic in particular helped tie in with this course that we're doing. Did that work for all of you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. No drama. So we'll if everyone happy with that activity, we're right to move along. Did anybody have any other questions, or did you want to pose any more questions to the group?
No, I'm all right.
No?
Cool. All right, we'll move along. Okay, so we're just coming towards the end of this session now. So we'll just have a couple of review questions. So who should be recorded on a research plan?
All members of the team.
That's
of the
exactly right.
collaboration.
The group members. So, and, in a much larger scenario, you might have a lot of collaborators on a research plan. So yeah, it's imperative that everybody is recorded on that plan, so everyone knows where the information is getting drawn from, which I guess different areas of expertise. Just from this small group of 3, you could see just how much experience or different experiences you guys were all able to bring to that, reasonably simple research plan. So you imagine if we were talking about something much more complicated, it's important to be able to acknowledge all the people that were in there, but also be able to work out where all that information is being drawn from. The people or party members completing the research should be recorded on the research plan. So providing a URL, a website name, and an author. What are these examples of? What kind of research recording would you call that?
Just information sources.
Yeah. That's I guess there's probably a few different words you could use. So they're all examples of citing a resource for research credibility. But yeah, you're right. You're quoting an internet research resource. You're quoting a URL. The whole point of this is that you having a proper citation means that you are proving that your work is coming from a credible source and that it's not just made up. It also gives your audience or whoever it is you're presenting that research to an opportunity to go back against all the research that you have presented and check it if they need to, especially if something's needs to be absolutely completely accurate. And so where would you find information regarding the copyright laws in your workplace?
Would you find them in the company policies?
Absolutely, yeah. Policies and procedures. If we go back, a couple of slides, we definitely talked a fair bit about your copyright policy, your internet usage policies, and the style guide. So all those documents are really important to remember. But yeah, information regarding copyright laws, you'd find that in the workplace copyright policy. Alrighty. So this is the end of session 2. We've been talking about planning your research effectively. We've briefly touched on research compliance, which is all the policies and procedures and all that sort of thing. We've talked about recording research findings, and then obviously how to conduct a research plan and then present a briefing. And you guys did a wonderful job of that. So thank you very much for not only working with me, but working with each other. It's really good when it's a new group and you don't know each other very well. I know you're all working all over Australia and this is the first time you guys have all met. So thank you so much for that. In our next session, will be our assessment session. So everything that we've been talking about now is going to come through to our summative assessment. So that will be broken up into, so it'll be another 30-minute session, but we'll have basically a written and a practical. The written knowledge quiz, we'll have basically 5 minutes to complete that. It's only 5 multiple choice questions. It's pretty straightforward. That will all be done asynchronously in your individual breakout rooms. I'll email you guys the quiz, and then you just complete it and email me back. Then you'll have 10 minutes for a practical observation, which is very similar to what you guys did in the group activity, but we'll go over that in more detail in our next session. And yeah, thank you guys very much, and we'll be back shortly for session 3.